Welcome to Enjoy Living. My name's Daniela. Wow, it has been a bloody long time since I've uploaded a video. Life has thrown some crazy twists, turns, insanely annoying obstacles my way, but we'll get into that later. For now, let's jump right back in and go back in time to August 2022 and the start of this hyperbaric oxygen therapy exploration. So there has been some really great feedback from long COVID patients and hyperbaric oxygen therapy. And not only those with breathing issues, but a whole multitude of symptoms are said to improve up to 90% from this therapy. In a nutshell, the pressurized chamber and increased oxygen is said to kickstart a healing reaction within the damaged cells, specifically targeting the mitochondria, which is the part of the cell which is responsible for creating energy. 20 to 40 sessions are recommended. It is not a cheap treatment by any means, but desperate times call for desperate measures. And I think, like many, I am willing and ready to try anything. So let's jump in and see if it's really up to the hype. So I finally tried hyperbaric oxygen therapy yesterday, and when I say I've been wanting to try this for so long, it is an understatement. I've been hearing such good things about this therapy, people saying they've noted improvements of up to 90% of their long COVID symptoms, that it's just been absolutely amazing in aiding recovery. And I've said before that after my relapse last year, when I was just trying too many different protocols at the same time, I wasn't gonna pin all my hopes on a therapy again, or put too much faith in a miracle cure and miracle therapy again. But I did have such high hopes for oxygen therapy, and I was just waiting until I felt stable enough, strong enough to be able to handle the journey to and from, because to make it worthwhile, you have to do at least 3, preferably 4 treatments a week. And that I have to have such a stringent diet, eating, sleeping, drinking is so stringently planned throughout my day, and any deviation from that completely throws me off. So I had to get to a point where I felt stable enough to be able to commit the time each day to traveling there and back, to the time that I needed for the therapy. So I did my trial session yesterday, and although the actual therapy was really relaxing and I was able to feel very comfortable, I feel so wiped out today. I feel so drained. I feel completely I don't know, I feel empty, nothing left. And I wanted to try and do 3 next week. Today's Friday. I was hoping to be able to go again Monday. I don't know if I have the energy. I really, really want to give this a proper go. And we're also supposed to be moving out of London in September. So this is really my chance to do it. I'm not sure what to do. So they were really behind schedule yesterday, and we ended up waiting almost an hour for our treatment. So from what I thought was going to be 3 hours, and I planned around my eating and drinking, ended up being more like 4.5. And which doesn't sound too crazy, and normally that wouldn't be a big deal, but my digestion was all thrown, my sleep was thrown, and it's just really taken an impact today. I'm just not in a place where I can afford to take risks like that at the moment. So I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm hoping that as the day goes on, I feel a bit better. I might just wait and see how I feel tomorrow and decide what to do, because I really, really want to give this a shot. Hi, so today is Tuesday the 9th, so it's been 4 days since I did the oxygen therapy, this trial session. So I'll just fill you in on how I've been doing since then. So obviously the day following, I felt so fatigued, was barely able to move, was barely able to think. And then the next day I woke up, felt normal, went downstairs, and about 5:45, I don't know how to describe this except that my body went into overwhelm. It was a really strange experience. I suddenly had awful pains within my abdomen. It felt like my whole body was in pain. I felt like I was going to throw up and pass out at the same time. My limbs, my arms and legs were just shaking, and I couldn't move for about an hour. really strange experience. It came out of nowhere. And finally the pain passed, and then maybe within 20 minutes I was able to get up and like get myself some water, and then slowly throughout the morning I started to feel a bit more energy and a bit more myself. And then I'd say the rest of the day I just felt a little bit weaker, a little bit of dizziness, but otherwise nothing more than I'd normally feel. And then Sunday, Monday, I felt relatively normal. So I'm not really sure what it was, other than my body was just overwhelmed. I don't know if it was triggered by the oxygen therapy. Really strange experience. But as Sunday and Monday, I was okay. I'm going to go in again today for another session. It's going to be my second session, and I've got 2 planned this week. I was hoping to try and do 3, but after last week's session, like the day following, I was so tired. Like the level of fatigue was just like, I can't even explain. I mean, normal fatigue from long COVID that I deal with every day, this was like times 3 at least. And I think that's normal from what I understand of oxygen therapy, is that not only is your body able to benefit during the session from the extra oxygen that you're giving it, but following the session, the body recognizes that drastic decrease in oxygen, and that also prompts healing reactions. So the body is in this state of repair even after you've finished the session. So that's what I think I was experiencing. But what I'll do is I'll probably fill you in again at the end of the week, and maybe each week. I've got 20 sessions planned, so each week we'll do a little check-in, see if there's been any progress, see how, what is going on with symptoms, if there are any improvement with any of the symptoms, and then we can see at the end of the 20 sessions how much of an impact did the oxygen therapy make on my long COVID symptoms. So all right, I'll see you in a bit. So today is Monday the 15th of August, and I'm just doing my little check-in. Last week I did do 2 oxygen therapy treatments, and I found pretty much the same as the previous treatment. The day following, the fatigue was so intense. It was crazy. It was uncomfortable to be in my body. I was dizzy with the fatigue, and everything felt like so much effort. But I did notice that following treatment, so on the journey home and the evening on the day of the treatment, I didn't feel as overwhelmed and irritable. So the first time we went, the journey home, I honestly, I couldn't have my eyes open. The people on the streets, the cars, talking, any noise was so irritating to me. And I literally just ate my dinner and went to bed. But last week I found that I was able to have my eyes open, I was able to talk, and it was just felt a little bit smoother. And then I found that the second day after treatment, I get a really nice energy boost, so a little bit more energy than I've had any time over the last 2 years. And it's not so much that I'm able to do any more than I normally can, but it just feels smoother. I feel calmer. Everything just feels a little bit easier, which is so nice. It's just such a pleasure to just have that little bit of ease in the day. And another huge thing, again, I'm not sure if it's related to the oxygen therapy, but if you have watched, my previous videos and kind of followed on this long COVID journey of healing, you know that my periods have been very, very affected by long COVID, and they have been traumatic. But last week, my menstrual cycle was a breeze. Pre-COVID version of me would have wished for such an easy period. Again, I don't know if it's a direct relation to the oxygen therapy or just a little bit of everything that I've been doing, just working together. So we'll see what it's like next month. But that felt like such a positive reassurance. Because I don't know about you, but it's so hard sometimes on a day-to-day basis to be able to tell if, you know, if you're making progress, because it's so up and down, and you know, you can feel okay 1 minute and the next minute you're like, you know, it's that you're dizzy and the fatigue and all of that stuff just feels so overwhelming. But that was such a positive reassurance, and it felt so good to have that. And I do think in general that, you know, even the low points, because it is really up and down, but those down points, they're not as traumatic. So it doesn't feel, my body doesn't feel as if it's suffering as much. So like the post-exertional malaise, it used to be that when I was experiencing that, I couldn't even hold a pencil, I couldn't even write, because my arm was in so much pain. It would hurt to hold a phone to my ear. But I haven't experienced that in ages. If anything, it just feels like my limbs are a little bit heavy, a little bit leaden. So that's what I mean by the sort of the down points aren't quite as extreme. So maybe there's a little bit more leveling out, but you know, I have no idea. So I'll keep you tuned. And we've got 3 treatments this week. I'm hoping to eventually build up to 4 a week, but right now that feels a little bit too much, just because day following treatment is the fatigue is just insane. But I'll catch up with you soon. I'll see you in today's therapy session. Today is the 22nd of August, a start of another week. Last week I did 3 sessions of hyperbaric oxygen, and it wiped me out, like totally and completely wiped me out. I can barely function. I've had the whole weekend to recover. I could barely move all weekend. I gave up on showering, on getting dressed on the days that I don't have a session. I was just finding myself like so exhausted with a huge dose of melancholy, just feeling pretty depressed. I think it's my expectations were that I was going to go on this upward trajectory, just having more energy each week, feeling the benefits each week. But I don't know if it's just the treatment, the travel. Oh my god, I can't face it. I just have, knowing that I have to get into the car today, I just don't know if I can do it. It really does. If my digestion is still so sensitive, and I find it really aggravates it the day following treatment. I feel a lot of my digestion just feels really sluggish and lethargic. I'm finding that my body isn't really able to regulate. I'm finding I'm overeating a lot, which also contributes to the digestive issues that have come up again. Yeah, just finding I just don't have the energy. I know I'm joking, but I said like long COVID hasn't killed me, but I think curing it is going to. I just don't have the energy anymore. I don't know what this week's going to be like. We're going to go back down to 2 treatments a week, because I just don't think my body can handle 3 right now. Yeah, I just find it that I'm looking for comfort through food, especially carbs are my love. And yeah, I do know I need to put on weight, and it's probably a good thing that I'm eating more, but it's not that my appetite has increased. It's like a comfort thing. It's just the way, you know, when I feel tired, when I'm looking for comfort, I go to carbs. And finding that my hunger and fullness my body isn't really able to, I don't feel hunger and full anymore. My body's just too tired to digest and to feel normal. It's like feeling everything but feeling nothing at the same time. My body's constantly feeling overwhelmed, but I also just feel numb and empty, and like I'm just walking through like a zombie right now. So I was hoping to have a bit more of a positive message, but it's just where I am right now, and we'll see how today goes, how this week goes. Hopefully going down to 2 sessions will just help me not feel this exhausted, but I'll check in with you soon. Today I had a trial session of hyperbaric oxygen at NMS Centre. These centres are charity run and offer the treatment at a highly subsidised cost, which is amazing. considering how expensive oxygen therapy is. The downside is there's often a long wait list. We were a group of 5 at the trial today, 3 of us there due to long COVID. And I actually found that throughout my treatments at the MS Centre, majority of the people there were there due to long COVID. There are advantages and disadvantages to both the MS Centre and the Wellness Lab, which I'll go into more detail at the end of this video. Today is the 30th of August, the start of another week. Got 2 sessions this week at the Wellness Lab, and first thing in the morning, and I'm just feeling broken at the moment. I feel mentally and physically exhausted. I'm finding it so hard to be in a body this tired, especially the day following a treatment. My body just feels so beaten down, and no, healing feels further away than it's ever felt before. I'm really struggling to get in 3 sessions at the Wellness Lab, mainly because London traffic just makes the journey so long. Sometimes getting home can take an hour and a half. And even though I'm not driving, just being a passenger in the car, the car journeys really aggravate my GI issues, my digestive issues. And there's just no way to be able to do the amount a week I need to make the therapy worthwhile. So on the 5th of September, I'm going to start at the Wellness at the MS Centre. And I'm going to aim to do 3 to 4 sessions a week there. The journey there is only 30 minutes each way. I don't know, it just feels impossible right now. It just feels so hard being this tired. And I'm just finding it really hard to make healthy choices to support ongoing healing. I know my body's already exhausted, and I just seem to be giving it more work by stuffing it with food. I'm just looking for comfort and energy through food, and I'm majorly overeating to the point that I'm in physical discomfort constantly. I had 5 days now of recovery. I gave myself 5 days between my last treatment and this treatment. It was supposed to be a reset, and I thought it would be really nice. I can just properly relax and I'll feel really good at the start of this week. Instead, I just abuse my body through food. I just kind of overate every single meal, every single day, and now I feel rotten. I barely slept because I was in pain all night, and I don't know why I can't seem to support myself. I'm supposed to move in to our new home in Seaford, me and my husband, next week, and I'm going to be staying at my parents' for another 5 weeks. We're going to be apart for another month or so, and I feel like such a failure. I'm not going to be there on his first day of work. I'm not going to be there helping to set up our new home. I really just feel like such a failure. I just feel like a failure at healing. I feel like a failure as a person. I just don't know. It just feels impossible to recover from this. It feels just healing and life just feels further away than it's ever felt, and I just don't feel like I have what it takes to see myself through this. I don't know, I thought it was going to get easier. I knew, I said from the start, you know what, in the next 5 weeks it's a healing time. I'm going to just think of it as a healing treat, because I know that it's going to be physically, it's going to really take a toll on my body, but I'm here now and it just doesn't feel like something I can do. But I know the therapy is working. I know that improvements have been made. I know that the suffering is greatly reduced. I know that when I do have hiccups, my body is able to bounce back faster. So I really want to see this through. I really want to do the 3 to 4 sessions a week that are recommended. I just feel terrified. I just feel so scared. I don't know if I have what it takes mentally to see it through. So I ended up having to cancel Oxygen today at the last minute. I was just in too much pain to handle the journey into London. Instead, I got myself down to Perfect Balance to see my fave guy for some K laser. This treatment never fails to sort out any stomach pain I have. It works by delivering light in certain wavelengths that penetrates through the skin deep into the soft tissue, joints and bones to stimulate healing. No matter how much pain my stomach gets into, this always helps. The following day, I was feeling well enough to go back to the wellness lab, where together with my usual hour of oxygen treatment, they very kindly gifted me 20 minutes of complementary nitrogen therapy. And thank goodness, by the end of the week, my stomach was completely pain-free. Today is the 14th of September and it's been a couple of weeks since I've done a check-in. Everything just feels like so much effort right now. I'm feeling so rough. And I guess I was kind of hoping that this would pass and I'd feel better and have something good or positive to share. I had this anticipation or this hope of gradually feeling better after each session, after each week that passed. But I just feel worse. I feel worse than when I started the oxygen therapy. I have heard from some people that it's normal to feel bad before you feel better, but I know everything just feels so hard at the moment. I just feel like maybe I will never get better. I just feel like this whole journey since I started over 2 years ago, I was just always waiting to feel better, always just waiting to feel better, and it just feels like it's just gradually getting worse, and I'm just, all my motivation, all my hope is just sucked out right now. Honestly, I'm feeling so rough. I'm scared. Like, I don't know if anyone else just feels constantly paranoid that they're going to catch COVID again. And over the last 2 years, I am constantly paranoid that I'm going to catch COVID again. Every time I wake up and I feel rough, I'm like, shit, is it happening again? Is it just going to be a vicious cycle? Is life just going to throw more challenges my way before I can even stand on my feet again? Yeah, that's just how I'm feeling today. Got 2 more sessions this week. Just don't know anymore. So no. There's quite a few people who are doing the course with me who also have long COVID, and I spoke to one of the ladies yesterday who was saying that she has been having lots of improvements. She no longer has pain in her body, and I don't know, it's lovely to hear of people improving, but sometimes I just feel like, what about me? What about me? When am I gonna fucking feel better? When is it just gonna get easier? When is life just not gonna feel so hard? So it's October 17th today. It's been 3 weeks since my last oxygen therapy session, and the thing I was fearing the most has happened. I caught COVID again. It got me bad. It got me real bad, right in the stomach, which was the organ that was the most damaged from my last round of COVID back in March 2020. And I got in a pretty bad state. I ended up being taken by ambulance to hospital. I was pretty lucky and they helped me out so much, and I've just been home for the last 3 weeks recovering. It's frustrating. It's so frustrating. I feel so angry at the situation. It feels like a huge step back, and honestly I've just been under a cloud of despair ever since. Anyway, today is the first session back after 3 weeks. I was hoping to feel a bit more prepared to go back. I'm still absolutely exhausted. My sleep is completely disturbed again. I'm just hoping that my body's going to be able to handle the pressurized chamber. But I'm going to just take it day by day and see how things go. I pretty much had to stop all my mast cell activation medications, all my supplements. I'm back on a completely pureed diet. Just been housebound, completely housebound for the last 3 weeks. Yeah, it's frustrating, but I'm doing what I can to try and help my body to recover. I tried a few rounds of vitamin IV, and I've been able to do a couple of sessions of laser, and you know how much laser helps me with pain relief and improving my digestion, just helping my stomach to heal, because it's been constantly aggravated. I can't bend down, I can't lie down, I can't twist or move my body in certain ways. So I'm really reliant on the help of my family at the moment. It's not easy, but yeah, it's good to be able to try oxygen again, because there's something about being proactive, I think, in healing. Like, yes, rest is amazing, don't get me wrong, rest is so important, but I think just mentally it feels good to be able to actively do something proactive, and just to feel like you're doing something, if that makes sense. So I've got 10 sessions left at the MS Centre and 10 sessions left at the Wellness Lab. So I'm going to continue to check in, let you know how my symptoms, if anything's improving and if anything else coming up. This video has turned into something completely different to what I originally thought it was going to be, but we'll keep going and see where we are at the end of the sessions. And just a quick side note, I did have an idea. I've actually had this idea for a while, but maybe when my brain comes back a little bit more, if you'd be interested in a sort of the cost of healing or the cost of illness. Now, obviously it will just be all the therapies and medications and everything that I've tried, but I've realized how expensive. I mean, I knew this before getting ill, illness is expensive. But oh my gosh, the amount of money that I've spent over the last 2.5 years to heal or to get nowhere, I honestly, depends how you look at it. Feels like I've got nowhere, to be honest. Yeah, so if you'd be interested in a video like that, I think it'll take a bit of time to put together just because of the brain fog. But yeah, if you'd be interested in that, just let me know, leave me a comment down below. I think it'd be quite interesting to see how much I've spent over the last 2.5 years just to try and recover from long COVID. Anyway, I'll check in later whilst I'm in oxygen therapy, and yeah, see you soon. I did have a 24th session. Unfortunately, there is no footage as my body became extremely overwhelmed and I felt very unwell. I had to ask them to let me out after 15 minutes. It was very embarrassing as there was 5 other people in the chamber and everyone's session had to come to an end. It is now February 2023, so many months have passed. I sank into a bit of depression after getting COVID again. It was a dark time, but I'm starting to pull myself up now. The last session, the one that went wrong, was my last oxygen therapy session. I was having a lot of trouble releasing pressure from my ears after getting COVID again, and my body was just, I think, too weak to handle the treatment. Hopefully when I feel stronger, I'll be able to complete the sessions I paid for. So let's round it up. So was it worth it? Honestly, it's hard to say. There were definitely positives, there were also negatives. Prior to the therapy, I was pretty much housebound. So thanks to the oxygen, I had the energy to travel to and from the therapies, handle the energy required to do the therapies, but I had no additional energy for anything else. So all my other well-being practices had to go on the sideline. I had no energy for walking, chanting, qigong, anything else. Everything was devoted towards the oxygen therapy. Another positive I noticed, and especially looking back at the footage now, even when I felt awful, I think I looked healthier. So my hair, my skin, it all looked healthier whilst I was doing the oxygen therapy. And that's something family said to me a lot, that I was looking better. The next positive is that yes, my periods were improved hugely during the oxygen therapy, and I think that's something that has maintained over time. And thirdly, so often I'd wake up in the morning and I'd be experiencing dizziness, aches and pains, headaches, and I'd notice once I did my session that day, that would be gone. So any aches and pains would be completely gone by the afternoon. But yes, by the time I got home, I'd be so exhausted that I wouldn't really be able to appreciate the benefits, because it would pretty much be rest and bed afterwards. So in conclusion, I think if you have the physical strength and you're able to access a chamber, it's worth giving hyperbaric oxygen therapy a shot. But I do think it's important that you're physically strong enough, because it does require a lot of energy. I do have a lot more to say on the topic, but I am aware that this video is getting pretty long. So let's continue this conversation down in the comments. Let me know, have you thought about trying oxygen therapy? Have you tried it? What was your experience? I'd love to hear from you. But for now, I will see you in the next video. Goodbye.